Good evening. I'd like to call to order the public meeting for the Upper Gwynedd Board of Commissioners for Monday, August 10th, 2020. Again, this is a virtual meeting, so we have some people joining us this evening. But before we start into the agenda, I'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. Item 3 on the agenda is the roll call. So Ms. Logan?
Liz McNaney, President.
Here.
Denise Hall, Vice President.
Here.
Martha Similaro, Commissioner.
Here.
Catherine Carter, Commissioner.
Here.
Ruth Damsker, Commissioner.
Here.
Sandra Zadell, Township Manager.
Here.
Megan Weaver, Assistant Township Manager.
Here.
Lauren Gallagher, Township Solicitor.
Here.
Isaac Kessler, Township Engineer.
Here.
David Duffy, Chief of Police.
Here.
Van Reeker, Zoning Officer. Van,
Here.
that's everybody.
Okay, thank you, Deanna. Just as a reminder, if you're following along with our agenda that has been posted on the website, anything that is highlighted in blue, you'll be able to follow along with us. If you click it on the agenda, you'll see all the information that we'll be discussing when we get to that item. Next on the agenda will be...
Excuse me, President McNaney.
Yes.
I just want to give Foster Digital the message that we're getting messages that people can't hear us. Sorry to interrupt.
All right. Did they hear that?
I'm pretty sure they did.
So should I wait or what?
All volumes are okay. We just lost it for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Number 4 on the agenda, the announcement of the executive sessions. Ms. Gallagher?
Thank you, President McNaney. The board did meet in executive session on July 16th to discuss matters of potential litigation, and on August 3rd to discuss items of personnel.
Okay. Thank you. Next on the agenda is item number 5. We'd like to open it up for any public comments or concerns. If we have anybody, we just ask you to state your name and an address so that we can add it to the public record. Kyle, do we have anybody that, any resident that wants to speak at this time? I'm going to assume we don't. Or did I miss? I didn't hear anything.
We did receive one via email. I don't know if you would like me to do that public comment now, or if you want to take that later.
You can do it now. Thank you, Megan.
Okay. We received an email from Michael Felmuth at 112 Cardinal Way, and his question was, can the commissioners get a list of the Monco Strong grant companies that were awarded money? And prior to this meeting, since I did get this question, I did look online, montgomerycountypa.org, their website. They do have all of the grant awards for the Monco Strong grant. They are all listed and they were last updated on August 7th. So that information is available online at Montgomery County's website.
Okay, and that was for the last round of grant money?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. County, okay. Next, item number 6 on the agenda. I'd like to turn this over to our police chief, Duffy.
Yes, thank you. So we have a couple commendations for people who helped us out. The first two are from an incident that occurred back in March 4th. It was our intention to recognize these two persons at the meeting on March 23rd. Of course, that didn't happen. So we didn't want to delay that recognition anymore. To give you an overview of the incident, March 4th, 2020, Upper Gwynedd Police responded to Gwynedd Elementary School regarding an emotionally disturbed father. The subject was creating a disturbance and being verbally abusive with staff. The father then withdrew his juvenile son from class and from the school and from the district. They left the area and their destination was unknown. Several hours later, the father called Upper Gwynedd Police Department in a state of crisis. He demanded the police pick up his son. He said he was going to leave the area and abandon his child in Philadelphia. Upper Gwynedd Police were able to calm the father down long enough to obtain information of that child's last known location, which is Greyhound bus station in Philadelphia. So the first person to recognize who helped us with this was Sade Shockley from Upper Gwynedd, from Montgomery County Office of Children and Youth. She took a proactive and coordinated effort with our department, staying in contact with us and providing valuable information in real time. We were able to verify the information and give comfort and confirmation to school officials that the child was safely secured and found safe, and the father was no longer a threat to the school. The other person who helped us out was, oh, sorry if I have these wrong, Megan Cutler. I'm sorry, Megan Cutler was with County Children and Youth. My mistake. Megan was one from County Children and Youth. Sandra Shockley is from Greyhound Company. Both of these persons helped us coordinate a very complicated search, and we were able to recover the child safely and come to a successful resolution for the placement of that child. So again, apologize for the late commendations, but we were going to be mailing this to you, and we really appreciate your help. I think there's a couple people in the meeting here to support at least one of the recipients. If they're in the meeting and want to speak up, that'd be fine. I believe for Ms. Cutler. Is that correct?
Chief, you may need to let Foster Digital know who the people are so they know to let them from the waiting room into the into this meeting.
I don't see them in the meeting room, so I think they're in the meeting now, but I don't know if they're muted or not. Anyway, this is why we waited so long to do this. This is not easy to do. Bottom line is caseworker Megan Cutler and employee Sandra Shockley from Greyhound both helped us locate and track down a safely placed juvenile that was taken from a school in Upper Gwynedd, and we really appreciate that. It was a complicated, stressful call, but they worked closely with us and we got it resolved safely.
On behalf of the Board of Commissioners, we'd also like to thank both of them for assisting our police and getting the child back safely. So thank you. I'm not sure where they are on our video here, but the board appreciates that as well.
Thank you. The next commendation is for Beth Miller.
Chief, excuse me.
Yes,
Before we give the commendation, let's ask Elizabeth Miller to unmute and turn on her camera. Let's just do that at the start because I do see her in our room. So let's ask her to do that now. There we go. I see her unmuting. And Beth, if you don't mind turning on your camera so we can all see you, since you deserve to be viewed.
I actually don't know how to do that, Sandra, because
okay.
I joined the waiting room.
I can see that you're in this room. So I think we saw you before. You just at the bottom probably need to start video. There you go. There you go. Now we can see you. Perfect. Okay, Chief, it's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you. So for Beth Miller, so in early 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic made its way to Pennsylvania and Upper Gwynedd Township. The response to the impact of this crisis was and still is unprecedented, and the safety concerns for first responders, especially in the early weeks and months, were significant and still are. Beth Miller generously donated her time and skills to create protective masks for the officers and staff of the Upper Gwynedd Township Police Department. She used material from the Air Force Blue shirts that match, which our uniforms are made of, our uniform shirts. It's a unique color and blend. She used this material to make up masks for us, which took quite a bit of time. They're professional looking, and they also adhere to safety regulations. And I have mine here, and this matches our shirts exactly. So we're in this, still in this unusual time and putting in these safety precautions, but we still want to project a professional appearance to the public. And something like this is, it might seem simple, but it's a big deal for us, and it's a big deal for how we represent our residents. So Beth Miller is recognized for generously giving her time and applying a professional skill to the Upper Gwynedd Police Department, keeping our officers as well as the community we serve safe, and also maintaining a professional uniform appearance. And we will send this to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Beth-
much.
And Beth, on behalf of the commissioners, we would like to thank you for keeping our police. As I was kidding around with Chief Duffy, I was calling them the fashion police now. They look so good with their masks on. So Beth, on behalf of the board, we'd like to thank you too for, you also made masks for the staff here as well. So we'd just like to thank you. You definitely helped out all of us, and the ones you made for our police department were just outstanding. So thank you very much for that, Beth.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Chief, it's still your show.
I'm still here.
Number 8 on the agenda.
Okay, so
Okay.
go ahead,
We
Sandra.
may need to just give a moment to allow the moderator to make sure the people that are next on the agenda are moved from the waiting room into the
Sure.
into the
sure.
meeting.
Excuse me,
Okay.
Sandra. Hi, this is David. I'm moving people around. The problem is we're getting a lot of callers kind of coming in last minute, so we're trying to get them into the proper room. So if you can just let me know which agenda item you're currently at right now, I can get those people.
Sure. We're waiting for Rachel DiPiano for agenda item number 8 to come into this room.
Okay, give me 1 second here.
Thank you.
And if I have Rachel at number 8. Okay, I'll bring her right in.
And then just an FYI, some of the people in the waiting room are telling me that they do not have any audio in the waiting room.
Yes, we're working on that right now. We've checked
Cool.
that a couple times. We've disconnected it and reconnected it. We don't understand why that's a problem right now, but we're working on that.
Okay, thank you. I'll let them know to just wait. Thanks.
I know you're on number 8, and we did have someone at number 6. We had Jamie at number 6 who didn't get in,
Okay.
and Joanne. So were they being honored?
Yes.
Okay, can we bring them in and possibly address them? Is that possible? Or we pass that agenda item?
Sandra, we were honoring Sade and Megan. I don't know if that's who he said. Is that
I think they were there to support them.
Okay,
okay?
okay, all right. Yeah, like I said, we were having some issues trying to get everybody in at the last minute. So I apologize. We don't work that quickly. We can't work that quickly. So
Yeah, no, we understand.
But okay, but I think we have your next person in, and I will stay with you. So Rachel is in the call.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hi. I think I'm hearing you guys now.
Great.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
so Chief, it's up to you now. Thank you.
Thank you. So Officer Rachel DiPiano started her work in the police department 18 years ago. And in the beginning part of her career, she was a member of the Montgomery County Drug Task Force and did undercover work and assisted with several successful arrests. In her time here, one of the things that she's most known for is her help with our accreditation, which you're going to hear later in the meeting more about that. She's always been a contributing part of our accreditation process and helpful with policy updates and revisions. And we wish her well in her future years.
Thank you.
And Rachel, on behalf of the board, we'd like to thank you too for your service. I remember the first time I met you, if you recall, it was over at the baseball field.
Yes.
You were helping with parking and all kinds of stuff there. And just the way you interacted with everyone, from the players to the parents to me, everybody there was just so professional, and you just wanted everybody to have a fun, safe night, and you handled everything so well. And that was, I think, the first time we really got a chance to talk. So
You
we
enjoy?
appreciate everything that you've done for everyone here in Upper Gwynedd. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so we're ready to move on. Is that correct? To item number 10.
Thank you.
Was that a dog that we heard?
Thanks, Rachel.
He's proud of his mom too, I guess. Okay, thank you, Rachel. So item number 9, Dave Brill, our finance director, we are recognizing him this evening for 10 years of service to the township. Unfortunately, he won't be able to join us this evening, but I would like to say a few words about Dave, and Denise can probably chime in as well. When we first started, Dave just really was so patient and understanding and helpful to us with understanding all the finances and everything with the township. So it's for only being here 10 years, you wouldn't have been able to tell, because he just had so much knowledge and so much wisdom to share with us. So we appreciate everything that Dave has done for us and for everyone here at the township and the residents too. Sandra or Megan, did you want to add something as well?
I can just add, Dave's been a great help to me since I started. When I was new to the township, he helped me get acclimated, especially because soon after I started, the assistant township manager, Alex, who I said was my safety blanket, announced that he was going to be moving on for a great job as a town manager in Wisconsin. So then Dave totally stepped in and helped me learn about the township and the finances, and he keeps that boat afloat. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Commissioner Hall, I'm sorry for calling you.
That's
Denise.
okay. That's okay. I just wanted to add that Dave is such a hard worker. Like it's normal for him to work 6 days a week, literally. And he just works very hard and takes it all very seriously, but he always has a very good attitude. And he's the first to come from that perspective of the glass being half full, not half empty. And we can all really use that these days, especially.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dave. I can't believe it's been 10 years.
Yeah, yep. All right, so we'll keep moving along to agenda item number 10. I do have that Jason will be joining us, so I don't know if he's in one of the rooms that we could let him in.
Yeah, I can bring in participant number 10. Hold on one second.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Jason is now coming into the room.
Okay. Hi, Jason. We'd like to recognize Jason Platt for his 5 years of service with the township. Jason has been an asset to the Public Works Department. He is now the official operator of our new street sweeper. He is doing an awesome job, because I saw the truck out there after our storm last week, going around my cul-de-sac, and just a great job. And Jason, I didn't even know that was you, and it was a great job. Also, Jason is on the township's wellness committee, and when I asked Willard, his department head, something about Jason, he stressed that, Jason, you'll do whatever job or anything that you're asked to do, and you'll do it in such a positive way, and that you're just a great asset to not only the Public Works Department, but to everybody here at the township. So we'd all, on behalf of the board, we'd like to thank you for your service here, and we're glad that you're a part of our Upper Gwynedd family.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Was there anything else that anybody wanted to add, Sandra? Anything?
Thanks, Jason. We really appreciate when you go above and beyond and volunteer for things like the wellness committee and things like that. It really helps out to have members from all the different departments on those types of committees. And also learning how to operate street sweepers isn't easy. They're kind of complex trucks. No one understands, I don't think, until they drive one. So
Yeah,
not that I've ever driven one,
yeah,
but I
right.
know they are hard to drive.
There's a lot of moving parts, and
Yeah.
there's two separate motors on that thing, so you just kind of monitor everything, and you know. But it's been a joy to operate. I mean, it's different for me. It was new to me, and it was a challenge, and I'm glad I accepted that challenge, and hopefully I can keep the streets of Upper Gwynedd clean.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you so much.
Okay, moving right along in our agenda. Item number 11, I'll turn it back over to Chief Duffy.
Thank you. This is a recognition of Officer Brant Whistler for 15 years of service to the township, and I'm pretty sure he is attending this meeting virtually, or at least he's out in the hallway behind my closed door. So is there a way to make sure he's in here?
Sure. This is David again. I can pull him into the room. Can I get his first name again?
Brant Whistler.
Brant, hang on one second. Okay, Brant's been added to the room. Brant's here.
Good evening.
Brant, thanks for
Yeah.
joining us.
Thank you, Chief.
It's my pleasure to recognize Brant for 15 years of service to the township. For me, as his chief, it only feels like about 25 or 30. Brant's a constant source of entertainment, shall I say. No, he does an excellent job for us. He's our 911 coordinator, which means he makes sure that we have up-to-date emergency contact information for all our businesses and other facilities, which is critical to us 24/7. He's been doing that for a long time. He is a sniper with the Montgomery County SWAT Team Central Region. He's also one of our range instructors and does a terrific job creating very challenging courses for us, which is more than just qualifications or trying to get a good score on a target. It's really survival based, and he and Officer Gill do a terrific job preparing those challenging courses for us. Brant also has the distinct title and badge of pet detective. Years ago, Brant asked me if he could start to and wanted to initiate a pet registry for residents who lost a dog or cat or a pet, and a way to help us facilitate finding them faster. So I said, if you do that and you get that off the ground, I'll give you a badge that says pet detective, and that's exactly what he did, and that's what I did. Might sound like a kind of a funny thing, and that I'm taking it lightly, but people, and understandably, really do care about their pets, and when they're missing, they'll go through great lengths and possibly even get themselves into trouble or physically hurt going places trying to find them. If we as the police department can facilitate finding their pets for them faster, it's safer for everybody. So what Brant did has been working for many years and is a significant contribution to our community. So for many reasons, I want to thank Brant Whistler for his 15 years of service, and I look forward to working with him several more.
Thank you, Chief.
Sir.
And thank you, Brand, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners. I have to say, this is really odd doing it this way and looking at you in this tiny little screen that I can see. But on behalf of the commissioners, we'd like to thank you for everything that you've done for us as a township and for all the residents and pets. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. Like Jason, I'm just trying to keep the streets clean.
Oh, geez, Brant. Oh my gosh.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay. And Chief, it's still the Chief Duffy show here.
Yep.
Number
So
12.
this is recognition of Julie Murphy for 30 years with the police department. Unfortunately, she's not able to attend, but hopefully she can watch this later. Julie is the backbone of Upper Gwynedd Township Police Department. Whenever I'm doing a tour and I come to her office and introduce her, I explained that she is the person who runs this police department, and it's true. She's responsible for helping me manage payroll and budget, the overall police records, which are heavily audited and scrutinized. She's critical to our law enforcement accreditation program. She also coordinates the schedules and gets our crossing guards where they need to be all the time, which is no small task, and it's also an important one. She handles all the expungements, criminal history record expungements, again, another heavily audited important area. And she handles our uniform crime reports. And that's just a few of the things that Julie does for the department. Yeah, I can't believe it's been 30 years. I've worked with her for 12 and a half now. And as much as I can possibly help it, I hope to have many more years to go here. And I want her to stay the entire time I'm here, very selfishly, because she's just been a tremendous asset to me in the performance of my job and to really everyone, every officer in this department. What she does is sort of behind the scenes, but the public and our residents benefit greatly from her dedication. So thank Julie for 30 years of service, and I look forward to many more.
Thank you, Chief. 30 years. Wow. Yes, she does a lot. She wears a lot of hats.
Absolutely.
In the department. Yep.
But if she can keep me out of trouble most of the time, I can't say enough good things about her.
All right. Thank you, Chief. I know we'll be hearing from you again a little bit later
Yes,
on the
ma'am.
agenda.
Yep.
So now we're up to item number 13. So we'll suspend the public meeting to have the public hearing. And I will turn this over to Commissioner Hull.
Thank you, Commissioner McNaney. The purpose of this hearing is to hear comment pursuant to Ordinance 2020-05, amending the Upper Gwynedd Township Code of Ordinances at Chapter 195, Zoning, Section 13, R3 Residential District, Subsection C, Conditional Uses, Subsection 3. And I'm going to turn it over to our solicitor, Lauren Gallagher, to explain.
Thank you, Commissioner Hull. This is a fairly brief ordinance amendment that ties into the two ordinances that were passed by this board last month. They have to do with the R3 residential district and the conditional uses that were added last month. There were some Scrivener's errors in the ordinances. One had to do with the front yard setback and the other had to do with the minimum lot size. So the applicant submitted an application requesting these two small adjustments to the ordinance. So that has been prepared and is in a form ready for the board's consideration this evening. There are two exhibits tonight. The first is T1, which is a copy of the draft of ordinance 2020-05. The second is exhibit T2, proof of publication of legal advertisement. And this was advertised on July 29th and August 3rd. And with that, the applicant's attorney, Ed Wild, is here this evening to discuss and answer any questions the board may have.
Before you get started, Ed, is there anyone else from your team that needs to be admitted from the waiting room?
It was my understanding that both Rick Mast and Rob Wagner were going to be participating, but I don't see them in the.
Hi, this is David. I'm bringing them in right now.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So we're looking at Rick Mast.
And who else, Ed?
And Rob Wagner.
Perfect.
And Rob Wagner. Hang on one second. I'll bring both of them in.
I feel like we should have music playing as we wait.
The real question is what kind of music?
Yeah, I won't sing or anything, like elevator music. That awkward silence now.
Well, it looks like they're working on it.
While they're doing that, if you would indulge me just for a minute, I'll be very, very brief.
Great, thanks, Ed.
I'd like to first apologize for any Scrivener or drafting errors, both from my office and from anybody that represents the applicant. We had two other things that we just wanted to bring to your attention. One was the recorded declaration of covenants and restrictions, you might remember that there is a recorded document that assures that the intended development as forthcoming would match both that declaration and the exhibits attached to it. Exhibit A was a 2-sheet plan, and separately we had a colored concept or sketch plan of what the property might look like. And I assure you that nothing on the 2 sets of plans has changed. And all we're doing is correcting the ordinance so that it matches the materials that we presented to you. As originally proposed to you, the ordinance didn't match the drawings as exactly as we had hoped. So the drawings haven't changed a bit, and what you have seen throughout is unchanged. So respectfully, we would ask that you favorably consider the really administrative adjustment to the ordinance and adopt ordinance 2020-05.
Thank you, Ed. Was there anything else that any of you needed to tell us or share with us?
I think that's it, unless Rob or Rick feel compelled to speak, and I'm sure that they don't. I think that's probably it. Yep.
Okay. Do we have any public comments?
If we could hang on 1 second, Denise, I'm going to jump back out to the waiting room. Again, we're getting a number of people kind of coming in last minute, so I want to make sure that we have everyone covered. So if you just hang on for 1 second, I will look.
Okay.
This is the agenda item. Which number is this, please?
Item number 13, it's the public hearing on ordinance 2020-05.
Thank you.
Mr. Wild, while we are waiting, do you want to summarize the 2 Scrivener's errors? I don't know how to say that word.
Sure.
Thank
Maybe
you.
the thing I could do is if I could ask to bring up the exhibit that we marked as that colored concept plan, I'll highlight that graphically.
Oh, now you're asking for a technical action, which might just delay the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. I
me
was
just
trying to
grab-
fill talking time, not technology time.
That's okay. I have that exhibit for you.
Oh, okay. Someone's got our exhibit. That's great. There we go.
There it is. We have used this plan throughout the process as it has evolved. As you come in the paper street, which will now be improved as Roosevelt Avenue, the 3 houses on your left have less than a 35-foot front yard, and they are shown as having less than a 35-foot front yard. So the first change is to have that match so that the front yards, the minimum front yard would be 25 feet. And again, that's primarily to address those 3 lots. If you can see, they're not deep enough. And they are pre-existing tax parcels or combination of tax parcels. And secondly, all of the lot area, the minimum lot area would be a minimum lot area of 6,000 feet. There is a range from about 6,000 to 7,000 for those lots. And again, that hasn't changed. There was no minimum lot area included in the original ordinance. So in order to avoid any confusion, although we had assured you that the lots would look like this plan, we thought it more prudent that there be an included minimum lot area. So that's the 2 technical changes, is to confirm the front yard setback and to confirm the minimum lot area.
That's very clear. Thank you, Ed, for explaining that. Hopefully, we'll find out shortly if we have any questions from the public.
Great. We can end the screen share then. Thank you.
I did jump out. I did not get any public comment for that topic.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you so much. So I would like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
We have a motion to close the public hearing. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Commissioner Sinalero. Do I do the next one or just Denise?
We have
Are
to
all in favor?
call it.
Yeah,
We have the motion and now we have to actually approve it. We have to
Right.
vote on it.
so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A reminder, commissioners, you do need to unmute yourself when you are voting so that we can hear everybody.
Ruth, unmute yourself. Why don't you do that again?
Aye.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Right. I would like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2020-05.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Commissioner Carter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I'm sorry, my mistakes. There are no public comments, no additional board comments. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it. Okay, thank you, everybody, for coming in and explaining all of that to us tonight.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Okay, moving along to, we'll give everybody a chance here to, we'll start with the department report with item number 17 on the agenda.
Okay, there's a lot of technology that's about to come at you. The manager's report, I need that pulled up, please. And also for the voice from the sky, our Chief Duffy is stuck in the waiting room. Oh, I think he's back. He's in our meeting room. I see him now. Hi, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay,
Back.
got in. Okay, so I think my presentation should be pulled up. It's the PowerPoint we sent over titled the manager's report for item number 17.
Sure, we'll pull that up for you.
Thank you.
I do have a Walter Logan in the waiting room. And he's on one of the agenda items about the road. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Again, people are kind of coming in. We got to try to get people into the meeting a little earlier.
Yes.
So we don't have this problem.
Well, we really can't. Well, okay, let's get a.
Yeah, no. We'll get you. The manager's report is up. There you go.
Okay. Will you
Sorry,
guys?
if I could just add, Walter Logan is here for 645 Jones.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So my manager's report will be on Tropical Storm Isaias. And this is our huge tank that is usually in the wastewater treatment plant. But as you can see, it's on its side because we had some really huge flooding down at the plant last week during the tropical storm. Could I have the next slide, please? So it totally flooded out our wastewater treatment plant. And here are some of the terrible pictures of the damage during the storm at our plant. Next slide. It's crazy when you actually go to the plant and see the size of these tanks that are on their sides. I went to the plant, and when you look at the picture, it just looks like a big tank on its side. But when you go to the plant, I mean, these are enormous tanks that are, I can't even tell you how big because I'm terrible at describing size, but all I can say is just absolutely enormous. And it's so hard to imagine how they could be so big and just floating on their sides. The picture that's in the background here is the water coming up to our admin building. So we had over 15 feet in many of our buildings at the plant, 15 feet of water. Next slide, please. And despite all of that water, let me just try to move. Our amazing team, which I featured in this picture, a team from a picture of our wastewater treatment staff from the Blue Hope Walk last year. We were able to meet our permit limits that DEP imposes, that we have with DEP, despite having more than half of our plant underwater. Our forward flow from the plant was interrupted at approximately 11:30 a.m. and was 100% restored by 8:30 p.m. and disinfection was restored at 5 p.m. It's kind of amazing. I know that's wastewater treatment talk that most of us don't know much about, but it's really, really amazing work by the team that you see below. Our staff there, they're led by Rebecca Mason. A lot of this is due to her leadership, but she couldn't have done it without her team, and that's what she would tell you if she was here tonight, but she's not because she needs to rest because she's been working her tail off. And so is her staff. And additionally, our township engineers that work with us at the wastewater treatment plant, Bill Brown, Jesse, and John Entrante. They've been just totally our right-hand people. Bill and, and John were waiting for the floodwaters to recede on the other side of the bridge, just waiting there to help us. Without their ingenuity and their engineering and knowledge of our plan, we would have never gotten back online so quickly. And I want to thank our army of reinforcements. That's what I call them, because when I visited the plant, I mean, just everywhere you look, there's strangers, and they're all of our wonderful contractors from Blooming Glen and BSI who have been on site helping us with our WIP project. And we're so lucky that we had that project going on because they were just able to mobilize immediately. They had all of their equipment there, and they just excuse me, got right to work helping us. So I wanted to thank them as well. And there's still so much work to do. I think it'll be months before the work is finished recovering from this flood. It's not a quick fix. When you see the buildings and all of the things that are destroyed, it's just a little bit overwhelming, but the staff are just constantly working every day to bring us back to where we were. So I just wanted to take a moment to point that out and thank our staff, thank our consultants, thank our contractors. They've just been amazing. Next slide. There have been some other heroic moments during Tropical Storm Isaias. So you can see our fire company over there on the left. I stole this picture from their Facebook page, and I just thought it was so cool because it illustrates like their safe water savings, the way that they save people when they have to go into this deep water that people get stuck in. I also put up some information about our emergency management coordinator and how in touch he was with everyone in the township during the storm, giving updates on the weather. And also our police department, they were so great, not only out on the roads, but also with the social media, as well as our township social media. The top thing I want to say after the storm to our residents, when it's raining like that, you can't go driving. And I think this storm really surprised people. Like you thought it was just raining a little bit, and then people were out in their cars and just overtaken by the flooding. So it's really important to stay home. And the most important thing is not to drive around barriers, because that's how a lot of people get stuck. Next slide. Okay, this is my favorite social media moment from Tropical Storm Isaias. It's not a great moment, but it shows a heroic moment from one of our public works staff members. So whoever is controlling the slides, can you click on the safety vest, please? It should take us to a Facebook link, to a video. Which is not working.
And you build it up. So like,
I know.
Patient is killing me here.
I
Oh,
see it. It's just not share.
Oh, is that a link to the web page?
It's a link to a Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, it won't pull up.
Oh no. Okay, next slide. Okay, well, I'll just show you a cute picture of two of our great, maybe you guys can try to work on that while I'm showing this great picture of John McGuire, our awesome public works employee who basically, I'll try to describe that video, but it's not as exciting. He rolls up in his backhoe and saves a woman whose car was overtaken by the water and just yelled out of his backhoe, "Get in the bucket." And she hops out in the rushing water and jumps into the bucket of his backhoe, and he drives away and takes her to safety. And that's John with the arrow. So I just wanted to say thank you to John for that moment. I don't think our public works employees often get to save ladies in their backhoes. But it was a really great use of his equipment. John's one of our operators, and he's always, I feel like I see him all the time in the backhoe, and I think that might have been his best backhoe moment. And to all of our public works staff, I mean, that day they are just racing all over town to try to help the police and help the fire company get people to safety and to close the roads, constantly responding to, this road needs to be closed, that road needs to be closed. So they just did an excellent job. And to our police and fire departments that performed countless rescues, thank you so much. Next slide. think that might be it. Yep, that's it. So that was my manager's report. I intended to give a little whip update, but I thought it was more important to sort of pivot and just tell everyone about the storm and just give a really important reminder. At any time when you see a barrier in the road, please don't drive around it. It means that there's actually something terrible up ahead. Even if you can't see what's terrible up ahead, don't drive around the barrier. That's my message for tonight. So that's all.
Sandra, where was that bucket rescue in the backhoe with
It
the
was
bucket?
it was at the bridge, the tiny little bridge that we think is like an inconsequential bridge right in front of Boston style pizza.
So right on Sunny Town Pike.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Wow. That I've seen that video. It's incredible to watch.
If anyone at home does want to watch the video, they can go to our police Facebook page and it's there. Just scroll down a bit and you can watch the video there.
That was taken by another motorist who just happened to be there, correct? Yeah, it's yeah. Good work by everybody. That storm caught a lot of people off guard, I think, and just amazing how like 2 hours later it was gone, like nothing happened on the streets, but you know, people's backyards and everything else were still showed it. So, okay, did you have, Sandra, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about tonight? That was it? I thought
Oh,
there was-
yes, there is something else. Sorry. I'm like, no, yes, there is. Thank you for the reminder. So I got so excited about that backhoe story is like my favorite public works rescue story ever. Besides all the cute ducks and stuff that usually get rescued from storm drains. That's another common fun public works rescue story. But I'm sorry to spring you on this on you, board, but last week was crazy with the storm. So one thing that I'm going to ask for a motion from the board on, which I never do without a Board of Commissioners action memo and lots of preparation, but I'm going to try this. And if you're not comfortable, we can talk about it next month. But for the WIP project, we do need to move forward with financing. And in order to do that, I would like your permission to go out for an RFP for a bond counsel. Those are specific type of solicitor that helps us do the legal actions required to finance loans, and also a financial advisor to help us pick the best loan option for our loan for the WIP project. So at this point, all we need is a motion to begin the process of a search for an RFP for bond counsel and an RFP for a financial advisor. And then what will happen is Dave Brill and I and Lauren will prepare the documents and send that out to interested parties. We'll see who's interested in submitting for those positions and start working on that, and then bring back those interested proposals to you guys for a process. So usually I would put this together and wrap it in a neat bow, but last week was so crazy, basically with everything you saw on my manager's report. But I don't want to let this go too far along because we do need to get the funding in hand for the WIP project. As you know, we're now about 3/4 of the way through the process, and we do need to start getting the finances in line to finish funding the project. So any questions you have, just throw them at me and I can help you. I can answer them.
Did any of the board members have any questions about that? So when we
Position, Sandra?
I'm sorry, Catherine, I didn't hear you.
I said, you said bond counsel. What was the second position?
It's a financial advisor that helps advise us on what type of, like, when we do these type of big loans, it'll be a several $1,000,000 loan. They help us look, they help solicit the bank loans and look through the different options that the banks submit to us, like the different percentage points in the loans, what type of fees they're presenting. So they help review the loans that are submitted to us and advise us on which is the best option for the township. It's sort of a specialty thing that I prefer to hire a consultant on than have Dave and I review.
Thank you.
So do we need two separate, I'm sorry, go ahead, Ruth.
Are you talking about issuance of municipal bonds to pay for this?
No, I don't think that we're going to be borrowing over $10 million. And typically, the financial advisor will advise us if we did need to do a bond issue, but I don't think they're going to tell us to do that. I think generally, if it's under $10 million, they're going to advise us to move forward with a bank loan. Because the fees, a bond issue is a great idea if you're doing a really big project or a bunch of projects wrapped together, but the fees involved in a bond issue are generally more worth it if you're borrowing more money. And I don't anticipate that we're going to need to borrow anywhere close to $10 million. I think it'll be between $4 and $7 million, and that only depends on how much of our reserve we want to use from the wastewater treatment plant reserve.
Okay, thank you.
I guess my question is, do we need two separate motions? One for the financial advisor and it was the bond counsel?
Yes.
Bond counsel and financial advisor, I think 2 separate motions would be appropriate. And you're just going out to RFP. As Sandra said, this is all going to come back in front of the board to ultimately make a determination as to which professionals the board would like to retain.
Okay. So I'll start with asking for a motion. I'll start with the financial advisor. Do we have a motion for an RFP, to put out an RFP for a financial advisor for the WIP project?
So moved.
Was that Commissioner Hull?
Yes.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Hull. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Carter. Any public comment? I don't think so, because nobody knew this was on here. Any additional board comment? Okay. Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And Commissioner Damsker, yeah, you just.
Yeah, aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it. Next, we need a motion to approve an RFP for bond counsel for the WIP program. Yes. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Damsker. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I think that was from Commissioner Similaro. So we have a second. Additional public comment or any additional commissioner comments?
No public comment.
Okay. No commissioner comments. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Thank you, ladies. I promise to only do that to you when we have a 200-year storm.
Moving right along. Thank you, Sandra, for that. Van, for planning and zoning, are you ready to join us, Van?
I am. Thank you, Madam President. A couple things very quickly. So we're talking about zoning hearing board matters, and then I did want to.
Excuse me, Van, just sorry to interrupt you, but could you please turn on your video so that we can see you?
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm back. Thank you. So very quickly, I did want to comment on zoning hearing board matters, and then very briefly on 2 items that Denise will have later in the agenda. ZHB on the matter of 2004 Croft, 2005 Montgomery, 2006 Farm Lane, and 2008 145 Providence Lane. These were all residential, all dimensional in nature. They were considered by the board through a virtual process. All the applicants were in attendance. They had great graphics. They were considered and approved by the zoning hearing board July 28th. So 3 of the 4 are already in the building permit process, still waiting for plans from 344 Farm Lane. I did want to correct, and it's my correction, not Deanna's, 2007 WB Homes, variance to develop Jeppy property. When we put this together last week, we were not sure about a hearing date, but they have since contacted me and I've processed it on to Patrick Hitchens, the ZHB solicitor. They are requesting to be heard September 22nd. So to correct that bullet item, they'll be on the 22nd unless they determine otherwise, and we'll start the notification process in the next 2 weeks. There will be no zoning hearing board meeting in August. There is no matters to consider. And then very briefly, there are 2 new conditional use matters before the board. We reviewed them, find them to be appropriately before the board, i.e. to be considered pursuant to the zoning ordinance. As you all know, probably know, conditional uses are treated much in the same fashion that a special exception is before the zoning hearing board, except the commissioners sit in the hearing and you will basically adjudicate and or resolve the acceptability of the conditional uses. They'll be considered. Denise will discuss them later in her report. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Van. All right, so with that, we're up to item number 19 on the agenda. So if we could bring in,
He's here. Yep, Isaac's here.
There you are, right there.
Hi there.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi there. Thank you, Commissioner McNaney. Just to give you a report for this month's meeting, I provided a kind of a full chart of where some of the plans under review stand. We're continuing the work to move those along with the applicants, and some new grading permits, as Van mentioned, have come in. Some items just to highlight for this month. I wanted to highlight the MS4 program. It's about that time of the year where this past year's annual report gets submitted to the DEP in September. And then also this time of year is a good time for the outfall inspections and some of the work that we do to prepare for the next annual report. So you may see us out there looking at some outfalls, and the MS4 report will be with the DEP come September timeframe. The Sunnytown Pike Bridge, I know it was on the agenda last month, some of the repairs that have been done for that bridge. That is one when they were repairing and replacing some of those needed items, they discovered some deterioration and some significant wear within the bridge. So that's something that is on our radar, something a little bit more the long term, but that we're looking into more of a full replacement or long-term fix, while the repairs now have it in a safe condition for the foreseeable future. That's kind of a longer term item, but we'll revisit that Sunnytown Pike Bridge. The road program for this year is beginning to wrap up, and with Public Works, our office will be working with them and identifying next year's program. So this time of year, we'll start to take a look at that, and we'll have obviously some information come budget time of year and what we're looking at for next year's program. And then also just to mention on the planning and construction side, in the area of Merck, the Beaver Street improvements is anticipated to begin next week. So you'll see some traffic control being set up, and if you drive in that area at all, you'll see some activity there beginning next week. With that, that's all I have for tonight's main items. I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Catherine, did you want to, Commissioner Carter, I'm sorry.
Hello, what is MS4?
Thank you, Commissioner. MS4 is the municipal sewer program. The 4 is the 4 S's that make up the name, but it's basically the program we do every year with the DEP that shows them how we're managing our stormwater, how events like we had this tropical storm and the treatment plant, how events like flooding can be managed and addressed going into the future, and just our knowledge and control of just this system throughout the township. So it's an annual report. We do a little bit each year with the long-term goal of keeping our streams and environment as high as quality as we can going forward.
Isaac, I was going to try to figure out if you knew all 4 of the S's.
I always forget.
Sanitary, separate, sewer,
Yep.
storm.
Separate storm.
I'm just
sewers,
guessing.
Yeah. Separate is definitely the first one. You're putting me on the spot. I always forget one of the 4, but it is basically because
I'm just teasing.
Like cities like Philadelphia, they have a combined system. One of the main things that more modern systems have is that they're separate, right? The sewer goes to the treatment plant, the storm sewers go to the streams and creeks. So the MS4 program is really a management of that system and how efficiently it's working. And they ask for a report every year, so it's always a communication with the DEP.
So it's like an audit?
To an extent, yeah, it's more of a check of the goals that we set as a township. There are requirements that are supposed to be met at certain points of the 5-year permit that they issue. So they look at what we've done over the past year, where we're headed the next year, and as time's gone on, they've become a little more strict with some requirements they've rolled out. So it's just staying ahead of some of the mandates they look at for pollution control and stormwater management.
So the benchmarks are set over the course of the whole 5 years?
They are typically, yes, and some things that come out of it are stormwater ordinance as a township is a piece that they look for and see. You'll see our response to flooding events that'll be included with our reporting, training that Public Works has, the street sweeping. Really, a lot of parts of what we do to take care of the township goes into what the DEP looks at and keeps us in good standing as we go year to year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Martha, did you want to ask something?
Yeah, MS4 is Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System.
Thank you.
For the record, I got all 4.
Make note of that, Deanna.
For the amount of time we look at it, I should have it memorized by now, I know.
We keep talking about that Town Pike Bridge. That's a popular item where the rescue was and now used. So, all right, thank you, Isaac.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Denise. I'm sorry.
Isaac, and I don't know if this was something that I should have asked Sandra. I saw that our roads program that was supposed to start with the milling and the paving, that's been delayed a little. And I was guessing that probably has to do with how busy our public works has been. No?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's the contractor. They said their asphalt plant got flooded, but I'm not accepting that answer. So we'd like them to honor the contract that we have. So we'll be expecting them to complete the paving by August 21st, but we're just working through that with them now.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sam.
Was there anything else that anybody had? No. Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you.
All right. Moving right along. The next item on the agenda is item number 20, and it's a motion to approve the department reports filed by the township staff. I think we've all had a chance to read through them. I know Parks and Rec, I was glad to see that with the camp, that even when the masks became mandatory for the campers to wear, we didn't really lose, the number of kids didn't really fluctuate too much. And that the two more movies and one more concert, I think I read, or no more?
We have a concert on Wednesday. And then there's the Night Sky Camp Out, but it's not really a camp out this year. It's a little moderated. And I think that's at full capacity. We did registration for that, which was a great idea by Sarah to control the amount of people, because we're really trying to maintain the governor's orders there with keeping under 250 people at these events.
Because our report said, I think there was 140 already registered, but now we're maxed out.
Yes, we have a waiting list.
That's awesome. That's fantastic to hear. Public Works is busy, police, everybody's busy. Did anybody, any of the board members have anything to add to any of the reports? No? All right, so is there a motion to approve the department reports filed by Township staff. I'm sorry, go ahead, Catherine.
I just wanted to say thank you to Willard from the Public Works Department for his new report system. It's very clear and concise. I like the pictures, so congratulations to Willard.
Thank you, Catherine. I noticed, yeah, very good.
And we should also probably thank Suzanne, who probably helped him with that as well. So thank you, Suzanne and Willard, both of you.
Yes. Ruth?
Yeah, I would just like to also, for Parks and Recs, to really thank the new monitors that came on board. I think helped to make everything move more smoothly on the weekends and at night. I think that Sarah, once again, is another star that we have. We have lots of stars in our department heads, and the parents, from what I heard, was thrilled that the camp was able to, continue. And they really did an exceptional job as Willard did, under these insane, difficult times between tropical storms and viruses and everything else. I'm very thrilled that I think that all of our staff has done a phenomenal job. So we're all very appreciative.
Yes, absolutely, Ruth. Well said. Thank you. So with that, is there a motion to approve the department reports filed by township staff?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hull. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Similaro. Is there any public comment?
We have no public comment.
Okay, thank you. Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes so have it. Next on the agenda is item number 21. It's a motion to appoint Pat how do I say it? DeGangi?
Yep, you got it, DeGangi.
Ganji from CKS Engineers as our conflict engineer at the rate referenced in their March 2020 proposal. So do we have a motion to approve CKS Engineers as our conflict engineer?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay. Any additional board comment? Catherine?
What's the conflict there? What's the conflict there?
Sorry, I can answer that. They serve so in this case, Pat DeGangi is serving instead of Isaac, because Isaac's firm, RVE, is working for Lansdale on a project. So we want to make sure, that we have like an independent review separate from Isaac's firm. So we want just a different firm to review the project. So we're using a different firm from our perspective.
I remember. It wasn't what they remember being called a conflict engineer. Sounds like somebody.
This is a friendly conflict. It's not like it sounds more aggressive than it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, all in favor to appoint CKS as our conflict engineers?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes so have it. Moving along to item number 22, it's a motion to approve the minutes of the public meeting held virtually and in person on July 13th, 2020. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Damsker. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Carter. Any additional public comment?
No public comment.
Okay. Any additional board comments on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it. Next is item number 23. It's a motion to approve resolution 23-2020, granting authority to accept delinquent properties of 2018 or prior real estate taxes from the September 24th, 2020 upset tax sale.
President McNaney, I do have some comments on this.
Okay. Before we hear that, there's a lot of information when we clicked on that memo for us to read. And so maybe you're going to answer my question. So I'll let you go. Sandra, go
Sure.
ahead.
I just want to give a quick synopsis. So the upset sale is for properties that are, I would say, like super delinquent in their taxes. They're a couple years delinquent. And typically the upset sale is sort of the last hammer we have to get super delinquent people to pay these property taxes. I did contact the county, as I said I would in my memo, to see what is the over the past 3 years, how many properties in Upper Gwynedd have sold at the upset sale, and the answer is 0. 0 Upper Gwynedd properties have been sold at upset sale. And the reason is I think people generally wait until the last moment before they go before the upset sale to pay those delinquent taxes. So as you saw, we have a very low number of properties on the upset sale list at this point. And these are properties that were delinquent before the COVID-19 emergency. So these are properties that were delinquent in 2018 or prior. So I know that you're being asked this question now due to the COVID-19 emergency, and I don't want to appear to be like a callous meanie, but I do think it would be, it would be my opinion that the board does not necessarily have to grant this exemption. The board would have to grant this exemption, and also the school district would have to grant this exemption for these people to get removed from the upset sale list. And the county's also asked us to let them know by September 1st if you're going to grant the exemption. And so we will have to let them know sort of well in advance of when the upset sale is, sort of removing that hammer. So if I was a person who had these super delinquent taxes and I knew I was going to get exempted by the township, what's your incentive then to pay? On the flip side, it's a small amount of money, as I referenced in the memo. So it really is up to the board. It's your decision, but I sort of wanted to give you that backstory of what this means and what your decision would be. So if the board does not want to exempt the properties, you don't have to take any action tonight. If you would like to exempt the properties, then you would vote to approve the resolution that's included in your packet. Did I answer your questions, Commissioner McNaney?
You did. You must have read my mind, but I
Okay.
Commissioner Damsker has as a question.
Yeah, actually, I think the advantage of doing an upset tax sale is to get these properties back on the tax rolls. So if, that is one way of getting them back on the tax rolls, whoever purchased them, and then is responsible for our real estate taxes. And
yes.
Also, there is once a year, I believe, there's also what's called, besides the upset tax sale, there's a judicial sale, which means that there's no taxes that need to be paid. So there is one final one that they do eliminate the taxes that are owed, because they do want to get many townships. Now, like you said, we don't have very many properties, but some of the other townships do have many more properties. And then, like I said, it is a way to get these properties back on the tax rolls.
I have a question. Excuse me. Is it $6,000 in taxes per property or $6,000 total? Times 12, or is it 6,000 flat?
That was what I saw in our total category for the total of the municipal taxes owed from the properties that were on the list. So that's
all
the total.
12 combined would be 6,000. And we would have to make our decision before the school board does?
We just have to make our decision by September 1st. I'm not sure if they've given the school district the same deadline. Lauren may know that answer.
The school districts had the same deadline, and as Sandra had pointed out, if the board were to pass this resolution and the school district does not, that means that those properties would stay on the tax sale. The tax upset sale is going forward. It's just a matter of whether the Upper Gwynedd properties will be on there. To my knowledge, the school district has not approved any resolutions exempting any properties for the North Penn School District.
Do you know about the county? Do you know whether the county has passed this?
The county has not been asked to weigh in on this. They are asking the school districts and the municipalities. The county, I believe, is just taking the position that if the school districts and the municipality wants to take them off the tax rolls, they will.
Thank you.
It's really up to you, ladies. Either way, you know, it's $6,000. We'll be okay if you exempt them. And if you don't want to, that will be okay too. It's not a make it or break it decision really, but I just wanted to give you that background that I think that if you choose not to exempt them, I wanted to give you that peace of mind that they were delinquent before COVID-19.
Sandra, will you say that again? Or maybe it was.
They were delinquent before.
No, I mean
Oh, sorry.
about, if the school district, if we approve it in the school district, like if we're not on the same page with the school district, just repeat that again for me.
Then the properties will stay on the tax claims list and they will go for sale. If both the school district and this board passes a resolution, then they will be postponed to the next sale. So it's not like they come off permanently, they would just go to the next sale. But again, the school district, to my knowledge, has not acted at all.
Well, Lauren, what do you mean by next sale?
Next year's sale. They'll just roll to next year's sale. So it'll just be delayed. They're not going to be removed. So they will get put on the 2021 sale.
Right.
And Sandra, what was your answer to Denise's question in terms of the total, or is it per household?
It's just 6,000 total. So that's why I said if you do want to exempt them, that's totally fine. You know, it's just $6,000. It's not going to break the bank for Upper Gwynedd to have that $6,000 delinquency. I think we factor in a certain percentage of delinquency every year in the budget. So you can afford here to be to exempt them.
Okay.
My opinion about this, I'll just jump in because I know usually I don't say much, but my opinion about this is I do understand that these delinquencies were from years prior to the COVID hardship. But I feel like the COVID hardship has been quite the hardship for some people. And I feel like there is no national stability happening financially. And I feel like this COVID reality is dragging on and on and on and on. And who knows when the end is in sight, right? So absolutely, if this delinquency happened before the COVID, yes, they should be responsible. Everybody needs to pay their taxes. I absolutely agree. But this is a very unique situation. And because this amount of money is not as significant to our township, my opinion would be to allow the exemption this time.
And just to support that, as Lauren pointed out, we will get this money. It would just be in 2021 instead of 2020.
All right, so are we ready to take a vote on this? All right, so is there a motion to approve Resolution 23-2020, granting the authority to accept delinquent properties of 2018 or prior to real estate taxes from September 24th, 2020 upset tax sales? So do we have a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any public comment?
We have no public comment.
Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes so have it. Good conversation on that one. And thank you, Sandra and Lauren, for clearing a lot of that up for us. Next on the agenda is item number 24. It's a motion to approve the advertisement for ordinance 2020-06, the formation of a Human Relations Commission, or an HRC. Again, all the pertinent information is included. If you click on the blue section there, number 24, to read all about it. As I was thinking about this earlier today, this is something that I know Commissioner Hull and I 2.5 years ago wanted to start. And our new commissioners too have expressed an interest early on that they too would like to see this happen in Upper Gwynedd, as it's been formed in a lot of our surrounding communities and throughout Montgomery County. So I'm excited to get this rolling. So with that, do we have a motion to approve the formation of the Human Relations Committee? It'll be a 5-member board. And again, all that information is in the packet.
And President McNaney, this is just a motion to authorize advertising.
Authorize the advertisement of it. Yep, I'm sorry. So do we have a motion to approve the advertisement of the ordinance?
I have the motion.
We have a motion, a second, and we have a second by Commissioner Dowsker. Any public comment? Any additional board comments?
We do have public comment on this one.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Are
I'm
they-
looking to get Mark into the room. Hold on one second. We're bringing him in. Mark should be in the room.
Okay. Hi, Mark. If you could just give your full name and your address.
Moment, I'm just going to give me one moment. My computer. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Hi, Mark.
Yes. Hi, Mark.
Hello. Hi, my name is Mark Connolly, and I live at 11 Kearney Drive. I wanted to thank all of you for introducing this ordinance to protect members of the LGBT community against discrimination and to provide a public forum to address discrimination against groups covered under state and federal law. Even though a recent Supreme Court opinion upheld that discrimination against the LGBT community is unlawful in employment, there is still no state or federal law banning such discrimination in housing or public accommodation. Based on a poll released by the Kaiser Family Foundation in June, nearly 7 in 10 adults say that they support laws that ban discrimination based on whether a person is lesbian, gay, or bisexual, 69%, or transgender, 68%. Over the past few weeks, we have all seen what hate against the LGBT community looks like, and we have seen the executive branch of the federal government backtrack on protections. So I thank you for your commitment to addressing these issues.
Thank you, Mark, for your support with this. Again, this was something that we all felt was important and the right thing to do for everyone in Upper Gwynedd. So thank you for that, for sharing that with us this evening.
Thank you.
So with that, I think we're ready. We didn't have any more board comments. So I think with that, we're ready to take a vote. So do we have a motion to approve the advertisement of the ordinance?
We have the motion and the second. We just need to vote.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Caught off guard there with Megan caught on. First, second, let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes so have it. We're up to number 25. On the agenda, it's a motion to approve the resolution 18-2020, the disposition of specific township records. Again, this information on what we would be looking to dispose of is listed in the reports that's included on the agenda. So with that, Sandra, did you have anything else on that one? That's just pretty routine.
Yep, this is a routine thing that we do once or twice a year in line with the Historical Records Act that
Right.
makes sure that as a township, we don't destroy anything that needs to be permanently preserved.
Correct. Okay, so with that, do we have a motion to approve the resolution 18-2020?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any additional public comment?
No public comments.
Any board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
These guys here.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it. Moving on to zoning and planning, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Hull.
Thank you, Commissioner McNaney. First up, we have a request from Merck. They're requesting permission to work a 24-hour, 7-day schedule from August 11th to the end of September of 2020. They're going to be doing work in Building 29. This is not typical for them, but for the specific project, they are requesting those hours. And they are reassuring us about two things. They are planning no use of heavy equipment, and that they also are going to be in communication with Chief Duffy. If there's any noise complaints, they're going to be on top of that. They don't think that's going to happen because Building 29 is located in the northwest quadrant of the site, and it's screened from the property perimeter by other buildings. So it's even less likely that that noise will travel to the neighborhood. So with that being said, I would like to make a motion to approve the Merck & Company waiver request from Chapter 113-1 and 124-5 for extended work hours for interior building demolition and construction on Building 29. Permission to work 24 hours per day, 7 days per week from August 11th through September 30th of 2020.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
So moved.
We have a second. Do we have any public comment?
There's no public comment.
Okay, any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Next up, we have 645 Jones Avenue, and I believe that we have the team that is going to share this presentation with us.
Yes, we should have maybe Kelly McGowan and some others in the waiting room.
I believe we are not going to have Kelly tonight, but we do have Rob Cunningham.
Oh, okay, Rob Cunningham.
Rob's coming in, and we also have a Walter Logan.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I
right.
forgot we had Walter. Yes.
Welcome, Rob and Walter.
And Isaac. Oh, great. There you are. Great. Okay, that was fast. Great. Hi, Mr. Logan and Rob. How are you? Okay, turn it over to Commissioner Hull again.
Oh, not to me. Go ahead, Rob and Walter.
Sure. We're here tonight seeking a preliminary final approval for a 3-lot subdivision on Jones Avenue. The existing property is known as 645 Jones Avenue. It was an old dilapidated building. Mr. Logan purchased the property a couple of years ago, had been looking for a way to redevelop the property and kind of fit into the neighborhood. We obtained some zoning variances late last year, and this year we've been working on a development plan. Been to the Planning Commission a few times, received a preliminary final recommendation back in June. Been working with your new engineer on some cleanup items, mainly related to stormwater. We think we've come to a good point, and we're here tonight seeking your approval.
Great, thank you. Did you want to talk about the waivers?
Sure, run through
Thank
those. Let me get that. We're requesting a waiver, obviously for a preliminary final recommendation. It's a pretty simple project. We've been in front of the Planning Commission a few times, as I mentioned. So we think that everything's tightened up enough that we can request that waiver. We're requesting a waiver for one of the driveways to be located within 75 feet of an intersection. The property is technically located adjacent to the intersection of 2nd Street, which actually serves as the driveway to the adjacent property. Based on the orientation of the homes, we're within 75 feet. We're approximately 50 feet for the closest lot. But due to the nature of Jones Avenue, we don't think that it's too much of a burden on that one. We are requesting a waiver from widening Jones Avenue to 27, providing the right of way for Jones Avenue of 27 feet And that is the street is already improved. We're not looking to further develop it or expand it, and I don't think there's any future development plans to do so. So we'd like to keep the right of way where it is, situate the homes in line with the other homes, and develop it that way. We're going to be providing curbing and sidewalk along Jones Avenue at the recommendation of the Planning Commission to kind of start the process of extending the sidewalk. And, you know, we're providing those improvements, but just not providing the additional right of way. We're also requesting a waiver from widening the street further than 15 foot or further than half width. It requires a 15-foot half width. We're providing about 12.5 feet. So that's in line with our sidewalk. I believe that is all of them. I think that's all that I had.
Yes, and Rob, if I can, commissioners, the resolution that had been circulated earlier today actually contained a duplicate, but there are only 4 waivers being requested this evening. We have provided an updated resolution to township staff, but the version you likely have in front of you, it was subsection D that was removed because that was covered in the 75-foot down to 50 feet in subsection B in the waiver section.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lauren. Isaac, did you want to weigh in on anything with this plan?
Sure, thank you, Commissioner Hull. I will mention just a couple of items for this subdivision land development. So it is 3 lots that are being proposed, 2 of which are twin dwellings. 1 is a single family detached. It is worthwhile pointing out that the stormwater for each of the lots is designed separately for each lot. And that's the main item we've been working on with the applicant's engineer to satisfy all the requirements of the Wissahickon Creek watershed. So they've been very responsive to address the requirements that were needed the past few days to bring it to the point where we're comfortable that they will be meeting with those requirements. There are a few outstanding comments. We recommend those be a condition of any decision by the board tonight to be addressed. And the waivers they request, we have no issue with what they have listed as part of the project as well.
Great. And as was written in the memo that everyone I'm sure saw, but just to reinforce that they did receive approval from our planning commission. They did receive approval from our engineer, and we have the supplemental review letter as well as the other letter. EMA's review letter was with approval. The fire marshal's letter had approval. The county planning commission also sent their approval in the letters in the plans. And then we also have the updates too, towards the bottom of that. But I can say that it has been really wonderful to work with this team. They have been very responsive, and they have been speaking to residents since the very beginning. They have been reaching out to the residents who live on the street about feedback. They were very responsive at the planning commission. I really felt like they genuinely were trying to compromise and work with the township as well as the residents to make the best product for everyone. And I very much enjoyed working with them. So that being said, does anybody have any questions on the board? Are there any questions about this before we move on, or the staff? No? Okay, great. So then I would like to make a motion to approve resolution 21-2020, preliminary / final subdivision and land development plan for 645 Jones Avenue.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Similaro. Any additional public comment?
No public comment.
Okay. No commissioner comment. So let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Next up, we are just scheduling a public hearing. We are scheduling a public hearing for either September 14th or September 28th for 111 State Street. These are the Roosevelt Court houses. At our next Board of Commissioners meeting, we will have meetings on both those days, and we are going to leave that to the applicant to decide which day they'd like to come to us and give us the presentation on the plan. So with that being said, I would like to make a motion to approve the scheduling of a public hearing for 111 State Street at a Board of Commissioners meeting in September on either September 14th of 2020 or September 28th of 2020, subject to acceptance by the applicant.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
So moved.
Second.
Oh, we have a second. I believe it was Commissioner Carter. Okay. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes so have it.
Next up, we need to schedule a public hearing for, there is a Wawa on 593 DeKalb Pike. A lot of people don't realize that's in Upper Gwynedd, but it is. And Tesla is requesting 8 charging stations. So we are going to have a hearing about that. And I am going to move forward with making this motion. We'd like to make a motion to approve scheduling a public hearing for the next Board of Commissioners meeting on September 14th of 2020, Tesla Incorporated, 593 DeKalb Pike.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Any additional board comment?
Can
Hearing, oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I
Yeah.
think
So this is just for Tesla vehicles, correct? So it's a special location that they're using their parking lot, I assume?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So it'll be a second business. So they'll have to get a second conditional use.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Commissioner Carter, did you have something?
Yes, is that the same Tesla station that was in Van's report?
Yes. Yes. And they're coming to PRC, our Thursday morning PRC meeting next week to talk about it with us too.
I had a question, but I
Okay,
understand.
we can wait.
No, go ahead. I'm good.
Okay.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
Dan's here with us. Are you sure, Catherine?
Well, I had a question. I'll have to go back through my notes now.
That's okay. Take your time.
You're on your spot.
Y'all voted early when Van was on, and I didn't have a chance to ask my question.
If you have a question, residents probably have the same question. So.
Well, Catherine's checking that out. If I could also add, Denise, that the Planning Commission in 2 days, Wednesday, the 12th, will be considering the conditional use application for both of these, the Wawa, Tesla, and the Roosevelt Court. So they'll start the process, assuming that you approve tonight, that they would start the conditional use hearings. Next month, they'll start the Planning Commission meetings in Wednesday evening.
I guess my question, Van or Denise, was under where it said the conditional use plan for the Tesla. A conditional use by definition means that it's going to be temporary.
If I could answer that, Denise, no, a conditional use is just another term for a use. It would be permanent if they choose to. It would be 8 charging stations along the existing parking lot. They would add 8 charging stations and the support cabinets. And the reason it's a conditional use, as I think you or someone asked before, is that had they agreed that all these charging stations would be open for use by all electric vehicles, then I would have viewed it as an accessory use to Wawa. But the request is not to do that. The request is to have it for Tesla vehicles only, which is okay. They can ask for that, but that puts them into a second and distinct use, and thus the need for a conditional use. So, Catherine, the conditional, it is, I don't know why they use this term, and maybe, Lauren can shed some light, but it's another way. To be a conditional use, you have to be named a conditional use or that type of use in the zoning ordinance. Special exceptions and conditional uses are predetermined. Someone does not come in and say, hey, I want to be a conditional use. No, that's not how it works. You're either in the system or you're not. So based on definitions, Roosevelt Court is in the system. They'll be heard by you next month. And the Tesla is in the zoning code. They're in the system. Now they need to make a presentation for you all to hear about how it works, how it's going to work, how they'll interface with parking and the like. And the conditional use is simply, sorry for the long answer, is it gives you the opportunity, as Lauren will advise you next month at the hearings, to impose conditions that you feel may be appropriate for this kind of use, thus conditional use. So the conditional use refers to whether or not you determine there's a need for conditions relative to traffic, landscaping, setbacks, whatever you would determine them to be.
Right, so a conditional use is a use that's permitted once certain conditions in the zoning code are met. So the code does provide kind of an overview of various types of conditional uses. So we'll certainly make sure that we provide an outline to the board in advance of both of these hearings. And then the board, as Van said, the board, should it choose to do so and should it choose to grant it, can impose reasonable conditions. So we'll be sure to give you some guidance as far as the parameters of what a conditional use hearing looks like.
Thank you.
So I have a question. As part of that hearing next month, is there also going to be a section in there telling us or informing us on how Tesla intends to make sure only Teslas charge there instead of any other electric car going up that may be able to charge there?
I think their answer, Martha, would be that their devices are such that only a Tesla vehicle can use them. And so that they'll speak for themselves, but as I understand it, that's the difference between a Tesla charging station and, let's say, where some of the office parks that we go to nowadays, you'll see a charging station over here on someplace where you can, any electric vehicle that qualifies could pull in. But apparently Tesla has a unique or special device, and the way the operation works, that you have to be a Tesla vehicle to use a Tesla charging station.
Right, thank you.
Was there anything else? Any of the board members? So we had our motion, we had our first and second, so we're ready to take a vote on this. Okay, so all in favor of the motion to approve the scheduling? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, President McNaney, did we take public comment on that? We did?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know, it gets me off track when we.
Sorry.
But I'm so glad that, we're able to answer all these questions and talk like this. This is good. So with that, we have a vote. Everybody, we all voted?
Aye.
Opposed? I still have it.
Great. Moving on to item number 30. So one of the things that this board is working hard to do is, well, we're working hard to do a lot of things, but one of the things that we would like to work on is we really want to keep on building better relationships with the surrounding townships. We really want to keep on working on how can we collaborate and how can we help each other mutually. So this falls exactly in line with this. North Wales Borough approached us and they asked if we would be interested in regionalizing our Board of Appeals. So they did not have a Board of Appeals, but they needed one. They wanted one. And we have one already. It's, as Sandra noted in the memo, it's not a board that very frequently is utilized. Residents often don't take advantage of this board, but it is important that every resident has the right to use this board if the situation so arises. So this board is in existence to, I don't want to misquote exactly what it does. So it's there to decide appeals if orders, decisions, or determinations made by the respective municipality's building official or code official relating to the application and interpretation of the municipality's building code. So if there is a decision made from our coding officer that a resident is in violation, this board will allow that resident to appeal it. And for that reason, the people on this board need to be a little bit more specialized. They need to have a background that would help them really understand codes and the construction and all of that. So what we're doing tonight is we're doing two things. We are approving this regionalization, this agreement with North Wales Borough to form this board together, a new one together. And then on the next motion, we are going to set a hearing date for it. Does anybody have any questions about this board on the board? Any board members have a question about the board? Okay. So that being said, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 22-2020, approving an intergovernmental cooperation agreement with North Wales Borough to create a joint Board of Appeals.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Any additional board comment? Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, no, this is fine. Go ahead.
I just thought if you're saying, are we approving it forever? Is this like a yearly thing, an ongoing? Like, is there a term limit? Like,
yes.
Is this a trial and error? Trial? See if it's going to work, or?
No. It's going to be an ongoing thing. We have it so that the board members who are appointed, we've staggered how long they're going to be. So, we won't be losing the whole board at the same time. So some will have they have staggered term limits, but the plan is for this to hopefully continue on. It's not a temporary thing. Hopefully it'll be a permanent fixture, because we already have this board, but they haven't been used, meaning they haven't had any residents bring an appeal to them. That's what I mean by haven't been used.
The boards are very rarely used, but in order to choose to take part in this, we do have to amend our ordinance as well. So as well as doing the intergovernmental agreement, we have to amend our ordinance to reference the Board of Appeals and reference that it's a regional Board of Appeals. So it's not really like a temporary decision. It's as permanent as an ordinance revision is. So you can always revise back, but it is a change to an ordinance.
And will there be a number of people from residents from North Wales and Upper Gwynedd equal
It's
or
3 Upper Gwynedd and 2 North Wales.
why?
Because we're bigger and we have a better ability to recruit volunteers. So the volunteer requirements for these boards are a little tricky. You have to have a very specific type of experience, which is related to having experience with architecture, building code, engineers, or experience in the construction industry. So it's not like our other boards and commissions where, you can just volunteer to be on the planning commission or the zoning hearing board. You actually have to have knowledge of this field to be on this board. So it can be hard to find volunteers for these types of boards. And North Wales did have a board. They just had a really hard time filling it. So that's why they wanted to regionalize. And a lot of towns have a hard time filling these boards. Additionally, you have to ask for volunteers and you say, like, do you want to be on our Board of Appeals that may never, ever, ever meet? Which is kind of another weird thing to ask volunteers. In the whole time, the 5 years I was in Chalfont, our Board of Appeals never met. And it's just, they don't meet that frequently. So this is one thing that just makes a lot of sense to regionalize, because then you just widen your pool of candidates between 2 towns instead of 1. And North Wales is the one that approached us, and they're totally fine with just them having 2 members and us having 3.
Okay, thank you.
Where are we? So,
we're
are we
taking-
waiting to vote, or did I make the motion?
We made the motion. We did everything. We're ready to. Yes,
I'm not sure if you took public comment. I know you had the motions.
we did. We did. Okay, so let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? The ayes so have it.
And then the next line item is, I will just read it. It's an advertisement of the ordinance. So we are approving the advertisement of it. Sorry, I said hearing, it's the advertisement. I'd like to make a motion to approve the advertisement of ordinance 2020-07, amending the Upper Gwynedd Township Code of Ordinances at Chapter 63, Building Construction, Section 63-3, Board of Appeals.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, any additional board comment? Going once, going twice. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ruth, you needed to unmute, I think. Did you unmute? Yeah.
Yeah. Aye.
Okay. The ayes still have it.
Great. Moving on to item 32. So as the COVID reality continues to drag on, we are going to extend our outdoor dining, which was the plan that we approved when we moved to the green phase, for some of our businesses to be able to sell merchandise or food outside, which typically we wouldn't allow. But we were trying to be flexible and give them more opportunity to safely operate during these COVID times. So I would like to make a motion to approve resolution 24-2020, extending outdoor dining an additional 90 days.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, any additional board comment? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
And item number 33, we are ready for an escrow release for the shops at Upper Gwynedd. They have met all the requirements. T&M is still overseeing them, and they have approved it. They've checked all the boxes, and we are going to approve that escrow release right now. I would like to make a motion to approve escrow release number 1 for the shops at Upper Gwynedd in the amount of $474,757.64.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Oh, we have a second. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, any additional board comment?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, is that the entire escrow release for that particular mall or?
No,
shop?
that's just the first one.
Just the first one.
It's just the first one. So we still have set something in order if they haven't completed everything, that we still have leverage.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so anything else? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? The ayes still have it. Moving right along. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Carter with our public safety.
Yes, our first is the motion to ratify and approve the emergency declarations dated July 20th, July 27th, August 3rd, and August 10th.
So we have a motion to, we have a second by Commissioner Damsker. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes so have it.
The second one is a motion to approve the declaration of disaster emergency for tropical storm Isaias. This is a storm from Monday. It's to authorize the officials of Upper Gwynedd Township as an act as necessary to meet the current demands of this emergency, namely by the employment of temporary workers, as you heard earlier from our township manager, of the issues that we faced over at the wastewater treatment plant. So declaration of emergency disaster will help us regain hopefully some of the money and anything that's offered for that. So this proclamation take effect immediately. It shall be in place for 30 days and extended at the discretion of the Board of Commissioners at any time. Motion to approve the declaration of disaster emergency for tropical storm Isaias.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any public comment? No?
There's no public comment. No public comment.
Okay, any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
It's Chief area. Just making sure Chief Duffy was around. The next item is part of our law enforcement accreditation. And I just, if you would, I just want to read a little bit of it because it's really important and it's really exciting for our Upper Gwynedd Township Police. The Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association created the Pennsylvania Law Enforcement Accreditation Program in July 2001. Accreditation is a progressive and time-proven way of helping institutions evaluate and improve. Currently, only approximately 10% of Pennsylvania law enforcement agencies have met the standards to be accredited. The Upper Gwynedd Police Department is among the 2% of agencies which have maintained the certification for 15 years or more. Upper Gwynedd was first accredited in 2005. On August 4th, the Upper Gwynedd Police Department was recognized by the Pennsylvania Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission for successfully passing their 5th consecutive accreditation assessment. This also qualified the department to earn the title of Premier Agency within the program, which is the highest professional recognition that can be achieved by an accredited police department in the state of Pennsylvania. Police Chief Duffy, like to add anything?
No, we're very proud of this accomplishment. It's definitely a group effort. It keeps us on our toes and keeps us adhering to some challenging standards, but we believe that's what our residents deserve. Being called up as a premier agency was a unique honor. We were only one of 5 of the police departments called up in Harrisburg that day. And just as a background, Pennsylvania has more small police departments than any other state in the country with just over 1,100. So to be part of that inaugural 5 in the premier agency status was quite an honor. We actually have it's a really good problem to have. We're running out of space in our lobby for our accreditation plaques. So I asked Sandra and she approved that I hung our most recent one up in the main township meeting room, and we all look forward to having our meetings there someday. Not that this isn't a lot of fun, but when we do, that latest one will be hanging in the meeting room, and the other ones are in our lobby. So again, it's a group effort with everyone in the police department involved, and we're very happy to have achieved it. And we rested for about a day and patted ourselves on the back, and then the next day we got right back into working on the files again because it's an ongoing process.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I think all the board will agree. We're very proud of you and the police for everything that you're doing, and this accreditation means, I know it means a lot to all of you. So congratulations. And Beth Miller is still with us, and she made those nice looking masks that probably helped too. So she's a part of
it. Over the top. I don't doubt it.
Yeah, that was it. So congratulations, Chief Duffy, on that.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you.
The next item is a motion to approve. I'd like to make a motion to authorize the purchase of the Rosenbauer Rescue Engine Squad and the new Command Rosenbauer 78 Quint for CoStar's contract number 013-122 for a total combined expenditure not to exceed $1,616,527. This constitutes half of over the expenditure of $35,087 over the requested amount of $71,614.
Excuse me, Commissioner Carter, I'd like to ask the moderator to allow the fire company president, Greg Rosato, and fire chief into our meeting.
Sure, they're coming in. Stand by.
Let me read it over again.
That might be a great idea. Commissioner Carter.
They're in the room.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to authorize the purchase of the Rosenbauer Rescue Engine Squad and the new Command Rosenbauer 78 Quint for CoStar's contract number 013-122 for a total combined expenditure not to exceed $1,616,527. This constitutes half of the over expenditure of $35,087 over the requested amount of $71,614. In light of the COVID-19, we didn't want to keep waiting to order the trucks because we realized how long they take to be built. This is why I proposed half of the initial requests. I also like to make sure you please understand that we have had numerous meetings with you and feel that the other funds will necessitate you doing your due diligence with Rosenbauer to work within the amount given, because as you know, no one knows where COVID-19 will land us in the coming months or years, and we will not have any further funds available for the trucks.
How much over budget was this? You want to permit it them to go how much over budget?
$35,087, half of $71,614 requested.
So how did you come up with the number of 35,000?
Because as I said, we could not, with the COVID-19, I didn't think that the $71,614, based on what they requested, and because the amounts they requested along with Rosenbauer did not give you the line item, the contract or paperwork that lists the mechanisms needed for the trucks to be built did not have the line items with the prices. So without that information, I split the amount in half.
So back in 2018, Sandra, they were asking 1.57. I know Dave isn't here with us tonight.
Yeah, I can consult. Yes, let me look. So yes, I'm pretty sure it was 1.58, but if you give me a few minutes, I can pull it all up. Sorry, I'm having a block on my computer.
I'm just having, Commissioner Carter, I think my issue is if we're trying to be transparent to the residents, I need to know why this 35,000 and what they're going to do with it as opposed to the 71. I'm just not comfortable with that just yet, but I'll wait to hear from Sandra on what we have.
Any other board members have any questions?
Go ahead, Ruth.
Okay, I have to unmute. I think that I remember going over some of these. Obviously, I think it was last January when we originally, after we first met with. Was it this January? Okay, yeah, you know, when life is having fun, yeah, right. That and we discussed it, and I feel that I would like to see that there needs to be a little bit of flexibility for them. These trucks, we all know, are extremely expensive. And please correct me that maybe the fire company can, that the trucks that we do have, we're able to sell them. So we will get some reimbursement as far as from the trucks. Is that correct, sir?
That's correct, Ruth. And to jump back to what Sandra was saying, I just pulled up the budget. We originally discussed the total price at 1.58 million. So it was 812,710 for this year, and then the balance paid over 20 years at 3% for the balance of the loan, with the understanding between 150 and 200,000 for the resale of the current trucks. But obviously that number is going to change as time goes on, the resale value.
And now the current trucks, though, that I assume that because they are older, that you have there are expenses as far as repairs.
Yeah, I actually have
You have to
documentation.
take that into consideration also.
Yeah, for the this year alone. Go ahead, Catherine. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying just recently, there were two that were out of commission, and one was even younger than the other ones that we hadn't recently had any problems with, but wound up having problems with. So those expenses. And I do want to say that as I said, I think that there has been an increase in maintenance on the existing vehicles. And like I said, just recently, both were out of commission and required expensive repairs. So we're going to continue, even once we hopefully agree to purchase the trucks, we still have to wait a year as the truck is built. So we're still going to incur additional fees and maintenance repairs while we wait for the truck to be built, the two trucks to be built.
I just wanted to confirm that the budgeted amount was $1,580,000.
Yeah, and also to go back on what Catherine spoke of, this year alone, for the squad, we've spent $3,500 in repairs, and for the tower, $12,700 in repairs. So the three frontline apparatus, the squad, the tower, and the engine, since 2017, we've spent $128,000 in maintenance on those three vehicles. These vehicles are 19 and 17 years old.
I don't think it's a question right now as to if we need trucks or not. I think we do, but I just have a hard time with. We know what you wanted to do with the extra 71,000 that you proposed to us the beginning of the year. We know what you wanted to do. We compared the two books. We looked at everything. We talked about it. Now to pull this number of 35,000 out, what are you going to do with it? I'm not comfortable voting for this when I don't know what that extra 35 is going to be for. I need more information on that. And I don't think we as a board, that's fair to approve that kind of money, approve that addition, $35,000 over budget, and we don't know what that's for. I know what the 71 was for. I know that, but I don't know what you're going to get rid of to get it back down to 35.
Right, and originally we discussed, like we did in the beginning of the year, the $1.58 million was not a final number on the vehicles. That number was given prematurely. We didn't have final documentation and a final quote on the vehicles until after January, as we discussed in the beginning of the year.
But I do think that it's up to the professionalism of the fire department to decide what they want to use that $35,000 for. What they asked for and what you asked for in a previous email, they explained to you what some of the extra items were. And I do believe they gave, specific definitions of what those items were for. And being that we don't feel right with COVID and give them the whole 71,000, I do feel comfortable. And I am asking the board, I am making that motion for the board to consider it.
I just want to see a breakdown of what that 35,000 is going to be spent for, because as you know, Catherine, the township owns these trucks. And I think it's,
Yep,
I think the residents should know what we know what the 71 was going to do. So 35 now, what is it for? And I'd like to see that before we just say, here's 35,000. I'd like to see what that's going to be for.
Liz?
And I'm asking.
I'm sorry.
Ruth.
Oh, should I go?
Again, I'm asking for a motion to authorize. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think that we
Martha.
can condition, I would like to see us amend Catherine's motion of giving them the 35,000 on the condition that they have to show us where the monies are being spent before that we would approve the items. So it gives them a little flexibility because, you know, I mean, fire trucks, I'm sure, keep improving and costs are higher. Even the paint, I was surprised to hear how much it costs just to paint a fire truck and everything else. That, I mean, things that's may give them, but it doesn't mean that they can just go and spend the 35,000. I'd like to put a condition on it that they would have to come before the board and state specifically where that money was going.
And I agree with Ruth on that point, that I would like to see it amended to provide the justification for where the 35,000 is going to go.
I understand your concerns. I differently. I think differently. I do think that, you know, anytime you're purchasing a vehicle, whether you're purchasing a small car or you're purchasing a fire truck, every year is going to get more and more expensive. So some of the things they might not know how expensive, you know, a ladder might be this year will change in 2022. And the longer we wait, the more expensive it's going to get. So I understand your concerns. I do think that the Gwynedd Fire Department does an excellent job. They've been working extremely hard, as they have, you know, even with the last tropical storm, and that we do have, they're doing their job. And I think that it's incumbent upon us to keep the residents, as Liz said, that the residents want to know, but the residents also want to feel safe. And we can't keep using the same vehicles that we're using, and then to have them go down, one vehicle go down, another vehicle go down. And again, once we even approve this, we still have to wait another year. So the longer we wait, the longer we prolong it, we're putting our residents at risk.
Lauren, how long do they have to hold, does CoStars have to hold that price for?
Depends on the CoStars contract, which I am looking
We
to
looked at
see
that.
whether what's that?
We looked at that before, and I forget what that
Yeah,
was.
I'm seeing if it's in this this packet. If you bear with me for just 1 second. I believe that the CoStars had originally indicated that they were going to only hold it for a date that has already passed.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we have the CoStars contract number here. So the CoStars contract, and again, I
While you're looking at that, Commissioner Carter, you know, I respectfully, you know, just want to say, by 1,000%, our fire department is needed. I mean, they're an asset to our township. We need the fire company. We also need to be responsible for how we're spending taxpayer money. And I think the compromise here with Ruth would be, you know, we want to see justification for that, what they're going to use that money for, so we can compare and we can look. I think we owe that to them. And it's not a question that we need new trucks. It's not a question, you know, that there's, the fire company doesn't do their job. They do their jobs. We've seen it over and over again. And the respect we have from them is immense. So it's got nothing to do with any of that. The bottom line is we have to be responsible for taxpayer money. And I want to know where that 35 is going to. Did you find it, Lauren?
I found the contract number. I am just on the CoStar's website trying to pull up the actual contract.
All right. Ruth or Denise, did you have something? Ruth? go
Yeah,
ahead.
I just wanted to also say that I think we're very blessed and fortunate that we have a volunteer fire company. They do, I mean, they put their lives on the line, or they, I mean, they do an incredible job. I would run away from a fire, they run toward the fire. And so I admire, I mean, that they really do save lives. And I think that because it's a volunteer fire company, I'm not sure that the residents appreciate how much money that is being very responsible, and that how much that does really save the taxpayers, to be honest. And I appreciate the volunteer work that they do.
Commissioners, if I could a second, I guess, while the solicitor is looking into that, a revamp, and this is a revamp of the contracts is going to put a significant time delay on the process here, and a very deep concern of mine on the operational level is that very fact that Commissioner Carter spoke about, is that the maintenance costs on these new trucks, or on the older trucks, and the downtime puts the fire department at a severe crippled position, and it's done that multiple times just in the last 2 months. I think that the statement about that original number being delivered back in September of 2019 during the budgeting process, prior to the completion of the actual truck committee's work, is kind of shooting ourselves in the foot at this point in time. But we at the time didn't have another choice or another matter or another way to do that. The budget was needed to be put in there at that point in time. That wasn't pitched by either President Rosado or myself at the time for that. So once this process was completed, we immediately put it forth. And I can tell you, and with complete sincerity, that both of my truck committees have boiled this down to the finest dollar and cent that is needed within Upper Gwynedd Township. We significantly looked at and took a lot of time and effort to look at. We're replacing a tower with a ladder, which is a significant savings in and of itself right there. Because of the need in Upper Gwynedd Township was not to have a tower at this point in time. We could use a ladder. So if we were trying to replace and not really being fiscally responsible to the township, to the residents and the taxpayers, the pitch could be for a new tower to replace the tower that we have, and those are going for 1.6 million just themselves. We're getting 2 trucks now because we've been fiscally responsible, and we were looking at the absolute most required need within the township and what the residents deserve from their fire department. So a revamp of the contracts and of the trucks will take a significant amount of time. This was a 3-year project already as it is. So
So I was able to pull the contract. CoStar's contract is 013-112, which is why I was having trouble pulling it up. It has been renewed with CoStar's, authorizing them to sell from October 1st of 2012 through October 1st of 2020.
So that would give us a time, and we could always, and you could get us what you're going to use that 35 for. That would give us time, and then we could always have another meeting to approve it. Is that what we do?
That's not what I'm asking.
Yeah,
I'm asking.
Yeah, I'd like to have a vote on, because I think the longer we wait, as the fire chief said, I'm just saying that, or that I mean, this is a very long process, and I think we're being more fiscally responsible, to be honest, than with all the repairs and handicapping our firemen, actually, if the trucks are not available. And I think that I'd like to see a vote.
Is that if one of our trucks is down, and Chief Geiger and President Risotto, you could correct me if I'm wrong. If one of our trucks is down and there's a fire here, we have backup to help. If a house isn't going to burn down, you know, and I really don't care who shows up. If my house is on fire, I don't care who shows up as long as it gets put out, you know. And I just don't feel we're being responsible. But we can take a vote. We can take a vote on this. I don't know, Lauren, how we do it. Do we have to do each one, 37 and 38?
So I believe that the motion that is in front of the board right now is the motion regarding agenda item number 37.
Okay.
And I believe that's the only motion. I believe that there's a motion. I do not believe that there has as of yet been a second. I know that there was discussion about potentially amending the bid.
I'm in agreement to amend it with the direction of what Martha and Ruth said. So I still like to put the motion to authorize the purchase of the Rosen Fire Rescue Engine and the new command Rosenbauer Quint for CoStar's contract number 013-122 with a total combined expenditure not to exceed $1,616,527, with the caveat that the extra $35,087 that Chief Geiger and President Rosado will give us the information as to what the money is being spent for.
And if I could just
So
offer
moved.
offer one clarification, the bid contract is actually 013112.
Oh, so that's incorrect here on the agenda.
That would just be that one
There's
clarification.
a one missing, is that correct, Lauren?
I think it was a typo. I think it says 122 and it should just be 112.
Okay, 112.
So after we get the explanation for the 35, then what happens?
It's just that we have additional oversight, that's all.
We're just they're asking for additional oversight, and I'm in agreement.
So then if residents ask us what we spent that 35,000, we'll have that information?
Absolutely.
Are you asking the staff that question, Liz? Sorry,
we'll take a vote on it, but I can tell you my vote right now is no. So I'm just not, this is not being responsible. Absolutely not. Not being
I
responsible.
don't appreciate calling me irresponsible.
I'm not calling you irresponsible. I'm saying this is irresponsible, Catherine. And I'm saying it because we're just giving out $35,000 and we don't know what it's
That's
for.
not what the motion says, Liz.
Would you let me finish, Ruth? Once we
Okay.
get it back, they're going to show us what it's for. Well, I'm still not comfortable. I would like to see it all, just like everything else that we do in this township. We see it all. We don't just get half of it here and half of it there. We get it all. So let's take a vote on this. And again, I'm not sure how we do this.
So it does sound like there's been a motion made by Catherine, which has been amended as she indicated with the additional amendment to the CoStar's contract number. And I'm not sure whether there was a second to the amended motion that Catherine had stated.
Well, I'll second it.
Okay. And now it would be appropriate to take public comment on the motion that's in front of the board.
Okay, is there any public comment?
No public comment.
All right. Any additional board comment?
I need to say something because I don't know why I haven't, because I'm, again, usually not a wallflower. I just really wanted to hear everybody's feedback and really understand everybody's perspective on this. I do feel like I do want to know what we're approving the money for. Like, I think that's a really important qualifier. And I think that was a good idea, Ruth, to give this approval, but to make it contingent on finding out what exactly that $35,000 is for.
Correct.
I really think Catherine's perspective was, because this isn't my misunderstanding when I spoke to Catherine earlier today, I thought that everything had a price, like there were line items that were all itemized. And it's the whole package. It doesn't work that way. And the idea of us compromising because, we only budgeted for this specific amount in these COVID times to just give $72,000. That's not something that we feel comfortable doing right now with how we're supposed to be spending money, especially for non-budgeted things. So I know Catherine's perspective was to take half of that and then give the ownership to the fire department to determine how they could use it when they went back and try to configure that money with the builders. I really like the idea of knowing exactly what we're going to spend that money on before we actually sign the check. So I think that's a good compromise because, like we said, like what has been established tonight, the fire trucks we do need the new fire trucks. Like we are getting a lot of repairs. They're going to start losing value, so we're going to get less money back for them, as well as this whole process takes a really long time. So because I had just been so quiet, I just wanted to say that that's where I landed with that. Sorry. Thanks.
Yeah. So Lauren, do we have to do these individually, 37 and 38?
Yes, you are spending township funds, so it's going to require 2 separate roll call votes.
Deanna?
Yes.
Yeah.
And just for clarification, just so that we can make sure that the township staff understands the board's intent with this, the motion that is currently in front of the board right now is to approve the expenditure listed in line item 37 of the agenda, but to require an accounting from the fire department regarding the $35,000 that's over and above the budgeted amount.
It's both items though, Lauren. It's 4 items, 37 and 38 combined going 35 over. So whichever way together, they go over 35.
Okay.
Not just item 37. It's for item 37 and 38.
And am I correct in my understanding that accounting is to be provided prior to the purchase itself? Or is that
prior to the additional money being given?
Right.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood what
I definitely wanted to understand, since I'm the gatekeeper, and I want to understand what the board expects back and what the fire company needs to provide as we move forward with the purchase.
Okay. So we need to open it up to a roll call vote with under the premise that you said.
Yeah, since the expenditures are really tied together with this $35,000, if Catherine and I apologize, I don't recall who made the second, but if you would like to amend the motion and the second to combine them.
It was already combined. Yeah, it was already combined. She already combined for the 2 pieces of apparatus in one motion. When she made it, she combined the 2 pieces of apparatus, and she used the one CoStar's contract, and she combined the 2. So it's a combined motion already. Okay. So I think she's good. Okay. It's just a little confusing, and although it will be 2 separate purchases because they're 2 different items, but I'm assuming, Lauren, that it's okay to do the combined motion. It makes more sense because the financial piece of it.
Right, and it's the same
hard to separate.
It's the same CoStar's contract, yes.
Yes, and it's the same CoStar's contract. So I think the board might be good for a roll call vote on the amended motion. Deanna gets the job of calling the roll.
President McNaney,
Aye on the amended.
Vice President Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye on the amended.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker,
Aye.
Yeah, I still have it.
Did Denise vote? I didn't hear. Did she vote?
Yes, she voted aye.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
It
didn't.
was a unanimous approval for the amended motion.
Can I just ask that our 2 wonderful firemen, our president and our fire chief here, if they have anything else to state or have concerns?
First, I appreciate your time and due diligence this evening, commissioners. I do have my concerns, and I'll address them with Sandra on how we move forward. Um, this, in fact, will require a complete redesign of the entire contract and all of the trucks, which we may or may not be able to get done before that CoStar's contract is up. The dealer, as I stated this before, this was a 3-year process just to get to the spot that we were to build. Those trucks were about 600 pages long, in each one. So we will have to go back through each individual truck, through 400, almost 600 on the ladder and almost 400 on the squad, and figure out how we can or what we can do to get down there. I certainly understand the challenging times. We all are in these together. When we sat down, we didn't anticipate a COVID-19 pandemic. However, we did anticipate, and we did task the committees both with being fiscally and financially responsible. So we will go back to the drawing board, because ultimately I think that's exactly where this puts us now. And we'll try and work with the builder to get this done before October 1st.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There anything further for either of us?
At this time, thank you.
Have a good evening, ladies.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks for everything.
Hi, Eric. Hi, Greg. Thank you.
Okay, so we can move along in the agenda to item number 39.
Okay, for Public Works, I would like to make a motion to approve payment number 1 to Alan Myers for the 2020 roads program in the amount of $146,250. And that has to be a roll call vote.
So we have a motion to approve. We don't need a second. We need a roll call vote.
No, you need a second.
Oh, we need a second?
Sorry. Yeah, you do.
Second.
We have a second with a roll call vote then?
Public comment.
Public comment.
There's no public comment.
Now your roll call vote.
Additional board comment?
Oh, there you go, Liz.
Roll call.
President McNaney,
Aye.
Vice President Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
The ayes so have it. Thank you, Deanna. Moving right along, items number 40 to 44. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Similaro.
Thank you. First, before I start the motions, I just want to make a quick comment, and I'll make it very quick because it's late. I just want to echo Sandra's comments on the wastewater treatment plant and how great all of our contractors and the team at the wastewater treatment plant worked together on Tuesday with Isaiah's that are still working together really great. But I also want to commend Sandra and Megan for doing such a great job that day of keeping us all informed and letting us know what was happening. I mean, minute by minute, basically. And the other good part, or the good news, was that the Department of Environmental Protection came in on, I think it was Wednesday morning, and were extremely impressed with how our wastewater treatment plant handled the disaster, and actually said, I'm going to read it from the email. He commented that, excuse me, he commented that we set the bar very high for other plants in the area in terms of how they should have responded to the disaster. So we rank very high up there with DEP, which is always a good thing with the agency. So kudos to everybody involved, and thank you, Sandra and Megan and everybody else who was involved for the great job on Tuesday with the with the horrible storm we had to endure.
Thank you, Commissioner Similaro. And I have to say, Sandra and Megan cannot keep you guys informed without Willard and Rebecca.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yes.
Willard,
Here, here.
the way that goes is Willard was giving minute by minute updates to Megan. She gives them to me, I give them to you, and same with Rebecca. So it's really a team approach.
Well, it worked great. It worked
Yeah.
fantastic,
it did.
actually. All right, so my first motion is to approve payment number 9 to Pact One for the pump station and force main project in the amount of $1,077,163.17. And that's a roll call vote.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Carter. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Additional board comment? Hearing none. Yeah.
President McNaney,
Aye.
Vice President Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
The ayes so have it.
The
Everybody
next
keep your eyes open now because I see some of you nodding off. So come on.
The next motion is to approve payment number 16 to Blooming Glen for the hydraulic expansion project in the amount of $115,208.81. That's also a roll call vote.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Damsker. Roll call vote, Deanna?
President McNaney,
Aye.
Vice President Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
The ayes so have it.
The next motion is to approve payment number 3 to BSI for the flow diversion pump station in the amount of $135,000. That's also a roll call vote.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Deanna?
President McNaney,
Aye.
Vice President Hall,
Sorry. Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
Thank you. The ayes so have it. Thank you, Deanna.
The next motion is to approve payment number 9 to Eastern Environmental Contractors for the hydraulic expansion project in the amount of $19,341, and that's also with a roll call vote.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Deanna?
President McNaney,
Aye.
Vice President Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
My throat's getting tired. The ayes so have it. Thank you, Deanna.
And the next motion is to approve Blooming Glen working in the evening to pour concrete for the clarifier floor one night in August or September 2020. That date is to be determined based on weather because it's just better to pour at night when it's cooler so that the concrete cures better.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Any additional board comment? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it. Thank you, Commissioner Similaro. Moving on to other business. Do we have a motion to approve the July 2020 open invoices? Motion?
I'll make a
So
motion.
moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Additional board comments? Roll call vote?
President McNaney,
Aye.
Vice President Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
The ayes so have it. Motion passes. Next on the agenda is a motion to approve the July 2020 paid invoices. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Any additional board comment? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
President McNaney,
Aye.
Vice President Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Simularo,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
Yeah, I so have it. Thank you, Deanna. Before we end this evening, did anybody else want to comment on anything? Hearing none, meeting adjourned.